Check me out. Just hanging out with the boys. Mace Windu, Qui-Gon, and Obi-Wan. Nailed the intro. Guys, there's something we got to talk about. Some things we got to talk about. Because you have some questions. And I need to give you some answers. For real though, the Twitch channel, I've been incredibly blessed this year, and I'm so grateful for all of you watching this, especially those of you who have gone over to the Twitch channel. For those of you who don't know, I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Link down in the description below. But like 99% of my viewers have come from this YouTube channel, and we've gone in a year from 5 to 10 viewers up to now often over 300 viewers. And so thank you for the support. And along with that, because so many of the viewers are over there, we get to spend a lot of time talking about gear, talking about social media, the things that like I think about all day. I get to discuss with people that are interested, and that's like my favorite thing in the world. But there are questions that I get asked most commonly every stream, multiple times a stream, that I don't mind answering. But when someone's there, when you get some dope OGs that are in the stream for 5 hours, and they have to hear the same question getting answered over and over and over again. Look, I need a place. I need a place where all the answers are. I'm going to give you all the answers. There are answers to every one of them. Let's just bang them out right here, right now. Great. Number one, can we start with the most common one that I feel like if you've watched any of my videos, it's probably the least justified in asking on the channel, but it gets asked anyway, and I don't want to discourage questions. So here's the answer right in the front of the video. I've actually, by the way, using the sampler, I have a recorded of answering this question. I hit a button and it just plays the sound clip whenever someone answers this, so I don't have to say it. It's content. How do I grow on Twitch? The key to growing on Twitch is to create content on more discoverable platforms like YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, these platforms that have an algorithm that help people search and find you, or browse and find you. I've known people to grow to 500,000 followers on TikTok in less than a month. If you want to grow on Twitch, grow a following elsewhere, bring that viewership over. Great. Number two, should I use a green screen or should I use my room? This depends on your situation, but there's a very simple answer. If you've got a decent space, a place you can put some lights or some context or some decorations, use your room. Your viewers are there to hang out with you. You should give them some context, let them feel like they're in the room with you. If you're sitting in front of a blank wall, green screen yourself. I'm actually really excited for the upcoming OBS update where they partnered with NVIDIA and created that green screen without a green screen I mentioned in a previous video, link in the description below. I'm excited to be able to use both, to have this background, but then also when I want to switch it to green screen mode and crop myself out. A lot of options for creativity there. But yes, if you can use your room, use it. If your room is crappy, you got a messy bed or a blank wall behind you, green screen yourself. What do I do if I'm streaming for 0 people? I have 2 answers for you. One, if you're streaming for 0 people, you probably shouldn't be streaming very often. In fact, you're probably streaming more than you should. Keep in mind, Twitch is my full-time job essentially, and I stream 3 days a week, anywhere from 4 hours to 8 hours. I stream rarely more than 16 hours a week, except for tomorrow. I guess I'm doing a 24-hour stream, but you get the point. If you're streaming for 0 people, it doesn't mean you're streaming wrong. It means you're not doing enough discoverability, like we mentioned in whatever question ago. For the first question, spend a little less time streaming, spend more time making content. Then you won't be streaming for 0 people. But sometimes it can be an inevitability until you start growing. I get that. Make sure you're not just sitting there silently playing video games. That's not content. That's you playing video games. Narrate what you're doing. Explain your gameplay. I use these 2 streamers a lot. An example here, 2 streamers that do a good job of narrating themselves are actually large streamers. Danukti, Wacky Jackie 101. They're both streamers with such large active chats that they can't follow it, and they might as well be streaming for 0 people. So they spend their entire game narrating what they're doing, and it's essentially the exact same type of content that anyone with 0 viewers could do. Number 4, is X microphone any good? And I say X because I get asked, this is probably one of the most common ones. I get asked probably 10 times a stream, is the AT2020 any good? Is some microphone I've never heard of, maybe an AKG microphone, any good? Look, I've said it in a couple videos before. And my answer is always the same. If a microphone, let's say specifically an XLR microphone, because there are some really bad USB microphones. If an XLR microphone is above $100, it's going to sound relatively the same quality on Twitch. There is a quality ceiling on Twitch because there are teammates making noise, there's gameplay making noise, there's music making noise. Your voice is a very small part of the broadcast, and it's being compressed down in order to be live streamed in real time. The difference on stream between a $100 microphone and a $200 microphone is literally next to nothing. If you're paying at least $100, it's almost always going to sound the same. Once you get above that $100 threshold, what matters more after that is the utilization, the tools that you have the microphone plugged into. And I use the Go XLR a lot as an example because it's really right now the only device designed for streamers. But being able to plug an XLR microphone into a device that has built-in EQ, compression, noise gate, de-esser, and fader control over all your inputs to really fine-tune them is going to be so much more valuable than the difference between a $100 mic and a $200 or $300 or even $400 mic. We actually tested this with dynamic mics in a video last week. I'll link to that down below. We compared a $100 dynamic mic to a $400 Shure SM7B, and with a little bit of tweaking to EQ, I got them sounding almost exactly the same. So my advice is, if you're spending more than $100 on a mic, what you're spending is the look. If you have a $200 mic that looks cooler than a $100 mic and that's worth it for the look, if you're doing it for a sound quality upgrade, you're getting nothing out of your money. There, that answer was longer than I wanted. Let's move on to the next one. Pet peeve question. Harris, I did what you said and created a YouTube channel, but I didn't get any followers from it. I think you might be wrong. Okay, technically that's not a question, but it needs to be addressed. Making YouTube videos is not a checklist that once you've done a couple of them, you're done. It's like streaming. It's a constant thing. It needs to be a part of your content that never ends. As long as you want to keep streaming, you should also be making YouTube videos. Keep in mind, the Alpha Gaming YouTube channel, this channel, I made videos on it, not super regularly, but I made videos on it for 2 years before anything happened on here. And after 30 to 40 videos on this channel, I finally found one that piqued people's interest, and it helped guide the rest of the content, and things started growing. I've also been making YouTube videos since 2006, and that was a long learning experience. Just because you made a couple videos doesn't mean you're going to start growing. Be patient, work with it, improve every single video. Enjoy the journey. Number 6. You know what? Sam's going to put the number underneath. I don't even know what number we're on anymore. Why should I not use Restreamed.io? That is a great question. I have vaguely answered it in videos. I've mentioned it, at least mentioned that you shouldn't do it in a bunch of them. Time you get a solid answer in a video. The reason you don't use Restreamed.io is for your branding. Very difficult to explain branding to people that are new to social media careers, but I'm going to try to do it very simply here. It's one of those things that in theory, you can't really argue with. Mathematically, it makes sense. Just like, for example, follow for follow. Follow for follow makes a lot of sense on the surface. I give you a follow, you give me a follow, we both benefit. What's the harm? The harm is that you've tweeted out, or you've let everybody know, I do follow for follow, devaluing your content, basically offering to bribe people to follow you, which is the same as broadcasting, hey, I'm not good enough to actually grow on my own. Here, if you follow me, I'll give you this in return. Nobody who believes in their own content is going to do that. And whether you recognize that consciously or it's a subconscious thing, we all know it. The same thing with adding a bazillion hashtags to a tweet. Theoretically, it makes sense. If I can add more discoverability to a tweet, why wouldn't I use it? Well, the problem is nobody ever searches hashtag small streamers. Nobody ever searches hashtag Twitch. All it does is it makes you look desperate for discoverability, and it dilutes the content of your tweet by just spamming hashtags underneath. It's like those channels that tweet out that they're going live every single time they go live. It annoys people. It hurts your branding and makes you look like a small, desperate streamer. And a big part of growth on social media is acting like you deserve growth, acting like you are worthy of viewership. I don't mean that in a pompous way. It's just about having confidence in your content and in yourself. People take notice. So when you use Restream.io, not only are you kind of ruining the experience because you're handling multiple conversations at once that the people over here don't know what question was asked over there, and it's confusing. They feel like they're out of the loop, but also you're subconsciously letting everyone know that rather than try to build a community on a platform and have confidence in yourself, you're going to cast a super wide net and just hope for whatever viewer might happen upon that platform. It's not a good look, even though it makes sense mathematically. It hurts you much more than it helps you. I hope that answer helps. Number 9.5. I want to start a YouTube channel. How do I come up with video ideas? The way I come up with video ideas is I watch a lot of YouTube. That's where most of it comes from. My video ideas come from questions I get in chat, as well as watching videos that inspire me. If you want to be good at creating content, you are going to have to consume a lot of content. You're going to get a lot of ideas from other creators, and that's okay. So spend some time on the platform that you want to create for and recognize what works well, recognize what's interesting to you, and tie that into something you're good at or you have interest in. And then after all that, create videos and create videos and create videos. The more you make, the more you'll recognize what you're good at and what you enjoy. Number the next one, why don't you raid small streamers? Or I guess why don't big streamers raid small streamers? I've been asked this a couple times, and most recently in the last one, and I spent some time answering it. I've got 3 answers for you. Number 1, I do. I think about half of my streams end with raiding one of my subscribers who was live at the time. However, admittedly, that is kind of a last resort for me if I don't have someone else larger that I would like to raid, and there's a reason for it. Raiding, if I were to put this bluntly, raiding doesn't help, or I should say raiding rarely helps. I've been raided, I'm gonna look up these stats, give me a sec. So far in the year of 2019, I've been raided 787 times for a total of 13,541 viewers, according to Streamed. However, at any given moment in a stream, or let's say I have 300 viewers, I will have maybe 1 viewer that found me from a raid. Raids really only make a significant difference if the person being raided is almost exactly the same as the person who did the raiding. Same personality, same game type, someone who is a perfect handoff. And it does happen sometimes, but not very often. The most efficient thing that a raid can be is a new contact, a form of networking. If my stream were to end with 300 viewers and there were someone about the same size that I would like to game with at some point, sending all 300 viewers my way is a way of validating myself to that person, especially if the community is awesome and hyped and comes in there and supports. That person says, oh, this might be someone I want to play with at some point. And that's how you should be using your raids as well. That is the best utilization of a raid. And then of course, if I don't have anyone in mind like that, I pass it along to the community because it's an awesome moment and it's a lot of fun. Reason number 3, and this is an important one, it's not anybody's job to help you grow but you. Your growth is your responsibility and your responsibility alone. Any raid from someone larger or smaller or equal to you is a gift. And if you expect that from people, then you're lazy and entitled. There are opportunities out there. Make your own success. Find your own growth. I believe in you. And the last question, what do I think about Facebook gaming? I have 2 concerns when it comes to Facebook gaming. Facebook has a pretty negative name to them right now for a couple reasons, from things like taking people's private data without telling them to their latest one is actually inflating video numbers, which I assume also means live stream numbers. And I've seen that firsthand. I gamed with someone who was streaming on Facebook once. He had like 300 viewers, and then I went to check out his Twitter and he had like less than 100 followers. I don't think all those viewers were real people. I think it's Facebook inflating numbers. But more importantly than that, it's just that Facebook, it's not a gaming platform, and they haven't done anything yet to show their gaming community that they care. Right now, it seems like they're just cashing in on the latest trend. They see that Twitch is blowing up, YouTube gaming is blowing up, and they say, hey, we want some of that pie too. Here's Facebook gaming. So it's not that it's not a great opportunity to get your content out there. In fact, I think you should be looking at potentially putting videos on Facebook because the algorithm is so strong. People browse it so much. But in terms of being a Facebook gamer, I just don't think that has any validity to it yet, and the branding is a little bit off. I'm not saying it's a terrible idea. I'm just saying you need to recognize the strengths and the weaknesses, and that is a huge weakness. Am I missing anything else? I think those are the big ones. I know, like, I'm gonna go live right after this video launches, and a million people are gonna come in and say, you didn't answer this question. Like, okay, I'll if I get enough common questions, I will write them down and I'll make a sequel to this one. But I hope this answered the big ones. I hope this helped. And if you come into my chat and ask me one of these questions, I will paste a link to this video. So, you know, let's make that a thing. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks for watching the video. Again, I do stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Feel free to jump in. Link down in the description below. And as always, happy streaming. Oh man, I bet it was. I bet it was too.
If I get it right, I'm just gonna. I got it right.
It was 70 years old. You gotta be kidding me. Why did they have a 70-year-old do that? What?